they ghosted me. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard
Really?
they just, yeah, we've actually came in and rescued a few clients who have like been in the middle of a launch, and the ads team did not follow our playbook, and they started ads 2 days early, and
Nice.
they were
Yeah.
in a different country, a different time zone.
All right. Welcome back. So today I have on a great guest, Amber Miller. She is the CEO and chief diva of Smart to Finish. And Amber, I'm excited to talk to you because you're a colleague of mine and we recently got connected. So instead of me putting words in your mouth, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the listener here.
Yeah. Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks, Daniel. I'm excited to share some wisdom nuggets today with everybody. But yeah, I have been running a boutique agency for 20 years now. I can't believe that I can now say 20 years. That's just crazy to me. But yeah, we help those similar to you in the online space who are, busy, busy entrepreneurs, taking that stuff off their plate so that we can build and implement and let them do what they're good at.
So what is it for them? Is it a capacity play? Is it buying back time? Is it, you know what? I've tried other agencies before. For me, most of my clients were considered the burn unit. They've tried other agencies or what I call bad advertisers.
Yeah.
and and so what is it for your clients?
I think it's a combination. I definitely hear the same thing. They ghosted me. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard
Really?
they ghosted me. And I don't know
Their
if
their
that's just,
service their service
yes,
provider?
yes. Like, we talk to so many people who are like, I was working with this person or this, not necessarily more of agency, but more of individual. Like, I was
Yeah.
working with this freelancer, or I had this person, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. My stuff didn't get done. That always blows my mind. I don't know if it's just the virtual world that you don't have to, it's different than when you show up somewhere. But yeah, we've heard that, which is heartbreaking. We've actually came in and rescued a few clients who have like been in the middle of a launch, and they're like, one was like, their gal actually was pregnant, didn't tell them, and called them from the hospital and was like, I'm having a baby. And they're like, we're in the middle of a launch. And she's like, I was afraid you wouldn't, I don't know. She was worried that they weren't gonna keep her on the team or something. But instead
Hmm.
she got put in this terrible situation of
Yeah.
not having support. So
Hmm.
combination of that. I think also same probably that you hear, the agency, it's didn't feel personable, or they felt like it was
Yeah.
just task based, and that people actually didn't feel the warmth. So we try to bring in the warmth and the actual relationship part of it as well.
Excellent. Well, when we were talking, I told you that I'm from Memphis originally, and I don't think I have an accent. Sometimes people say, "Daniel, you've got an accent." I can tell
You do.
you're from the South, but but in Memphis we call it a little TLC, little Elvis Tender Loving Care. So that's the
Love
same thing
that.
I like to bring to my client engagements, and I'm glad we resonate on that.
Yeah.
So talk to me about launches, and I'll give you
Yeah.
some backstory here. I actually had a service, and I focused solely on this service where we did launches for clients. We called it a community launch. It was about community boot camp challenge, etc. But now we just wrap that into what we do anyway. So I'd love to hear about your take on launches. What most people do right, most people do wrong.
Yeah.
I love breaking down the misconceptions and the myths in this industry.
Yeah. And I think too, it depends on the size of your launch and what's at stake,
Mm,
right? So I'm a launch director for a personal development company, and her launch is seasonal, it's yearly.
mm.
So the downside is that we have one shot to make the money, her profit for the entire year. It's a year long program.
No
It's a
pressure.
once, yeah, no pressure, right? So it doesn't allow a lot of time of split testing and testing like what's converting, because we're in this short time frame, right? So what I've learned, and what I always say when all the stakes are in this and it's a big launch, is I'm a big believer on backups, like redundancy,
Mm,
having a sales page on another server. I can't tell you how many times launch comes, site goes down, right? Too much traffic. If you're having affiliate partners, whatever, Google decides that, you've done something and decides to shut you down, whatever it may be. Having a completely different version of your sales page so that you can
Mm.
flip the switch and keep things coming. Same with email. I've had that happen 12 hours before a Netflix launch. A client got shut down from a very well-known email provider who said they were spamming,
Mm.
completely blocked them. Their series was going live on Netflix in 12 hours. So we had 12 hours to rebuild the entire funnel, everything. So it's for me, a big deal is redundancy, backup. What's my plan A, B, C, D, E, so that we don't
Mm.
have any hiccups and we can keep things going. If it's a smaller launch, maybe it doesn't need to be as dramatic, but still having backup in place. Like I'm a big believer in, if this happens, how do we pivot? And just being nimble, during a launch, I think you just have to you have to learn, you have to accept and enjoy the pivot, right? Like
Mm.
if you
Yeah.
can't get in that mindset, you're going to struggle. It's all about pivoting.
I have never been a part of a launch that has gone 100% according to plan. I don't know if if you share that same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when I've talked to clients about that, of course the expectation is perfection. And clients want everything done according to plan. And especially with some of the clients that are newer to launches, what I remember is it throws them for a loop. They get off their game. It injects weird energy into it. And so, have you ever been a part of a launch that's gone
As soon
perfectly?
as you said that, I just had this flashback to February when I literally talked a client off the ledge. I feel like sometimes during the launch I put on the therapist hat, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, she was in the energy of, oh my gosh, it's cart close day. I'm not getting what I thought. And
Mm,
so it's like, okay, so you kind of do, you have to pull them back into, all right, we still have all day. How else can we pivot? What else can we do? Like,
yeah.
just bringing them back in because yeah, it is a weird energy that sometimes I always laugh. I'm like, it's their launch side that comes out. It's a completely different person.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Launch.
I love that. So
So
true.
keep going on the energy of it. This is something I talk
Mm-hmm.
about. I I talk about internally with my team, but I am a big believer in energy of campaigns. And it's that
Yes.
weird invisible voodoo that it can be
Yep.
it can be quote unquote perfect for a client, but as soon as something comes in that throws it off,
Yep.
it just
Yes.
and
Yeah,
and yeah,
totally.
what are your beliefs around that?
No, 100%. And I actually just had this conversation with one of my clients last week, which is funny timing. She, approved the copy. She was good to go. We built the campaign and we were on the call and I just kept sensing she's not 100% behind this. She's not
Mm,
excited about this. And
yeah.
so, I kept probing her, like, what is it? And she's like, I don't know. Something's just not right. I'm like, all right, time out. Like, I can't launch this if I don't have, like, you've got to be 100% behind this. Like the word, this is coming from you. You're doing the webinars. You have got to 100% believe in what we're saying, what we're sharing. Without your energy, I've seen it firsthand
Mm,
with several clients. It just,
yeah.
yeah, it's blah.
It tanks.
So yeah, and it was just a few simple things that she didn't like, and she just didn't want to, say something. And so we were like, no, let's take that out. Let's change that. Say this
Yeah.
instead. And then she was like, oh, and she could get behind it. But yeah, if they're not behind it, if there's weird energy, it comes through. It comes through in the
Yeah.
words. It comes through in webinars and videos.
So to the listener, because they're most likely the client in this situation,
Yeah.
but what are some things you can tell the listener that will help their mindset? I think of it like the video of a dam, and there's blocks in the way of a dam, and then as soon as you remove or I'm sorry, the dam is the block. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a damn block. But as soon as you remove the blocks, then the water flows freely, and
Yeah.
it may be just a small little block. But what are some things that you talk with as that therapist persona?
Well, there's with one client in particular, she's very sensitive and is very into mindset and
Mm,
law of attraction and
yeah.
so I know with her, I think part of it too is learning your clients, right? Like I'm sure you get that. Like each one has a different personality. I get to know them. I mean, that's one of the things, kind of like you said, TLC, like for us, we have long-term clients. I mean, this client that I'm thinking of right now, I've been with her since '08. So we're now, so
Hmm.
17 years. So I
Yeah.
know her. I love to get to know them. What can I do to bring out, what they need? And so part of what I do with her is, something may happen. Like you said, something's going to happen. A darn email went out the wrong time, or, something happens. And so then she'll call and she's, oh my gosh, that wasn't supposed to go out, or this, sent to the wrong people, or it went at this time. And I always come back and I say, it's perfect timing, right? Like, it's
Hmm.
perfect timing. It's gonna yes, it may have went to a different group, or it went a day, so it went at 7 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. the next day, but it hit the people who needed to hear it at the right time. So I always try to reframe it as a positive, and like, okay, we're gonna look at this as the people who needed to hear it at 7 p.m. last night when the email went out. It resonated, it hit them. So, and then that puts her right back into, yes, thank you. Just kind of that grounding energy of, okay, and then what can we do moving forward, or what can we do now to fix that and kind of keep them in that positive kind of mindset.
Amen to that. No, seriously. We did not talk about this, listener. We did not talk about this beforehand, but Amber, you don't know this, but I use this phrase very often with my clients. Everything happens for a reason. You just,
Yep.
hey, it is all good. And
Yep.
and then then if they're really on the ledge, we work backwards. Are you going to prison? No. Are you in the
Right.
hospital? No. Are you going to be
Exactly.
homeless from this? No.
Hmm.
And so we just whittle it down, and it gets a laugh, right? We kill them
Yeah.
with humor.
Yep.
So that's my mo. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so glad
similar.
you
I'll
said
say
that.
this isn't brain surgery, right? Like, we're not operating on somebody and we just made a big mistake, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the analogy I like to always use. Like, but exactly, like, okay, let's look at it in the big scheme of things, right? Like, is this going to matter in a week, in 6 months? Like, no. And here's how we can shift and pivot. It's all about the pivot.
Yeah.
It's all about keeping them in that space.
And if you're in a situation of it being a Hail Mary, it absolutely being the inflection point of the business success or failure, oh, Amber, you and I, we're in the wrong situation in that point.
What's crazy is, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, launches are so stressful," and I'm like, yeah. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, I thrive on that though. What's wrong with me? Like, there's this part of me that, like, that's where I get my excitement and energy, is in the midst of the energy of the launch. There's something about it that
Yeah.
kicks me into, yeah, like, let's do this, right? Like, I'm all in. Like, I love it. Yeah.
What did you do before this for your agency?
So
Anything?
before this, we mostly did implementation for Infusionsoft Keep. So
Oh,
when I started,
Confusionsoft.
mhm, that, they're local here in Arizona. I'm in Arizona, so they're a local company. And back in the day, 2007, 2008, it was one shopping cart. And then Dan Kennedy did this big conference, and he told everybody about this new software called, Infusionsoft. And so all my clients were like, we're going to go do this. And I was like, yes, because I love learning new technology. And so for a long time, that was it. That was the software to have. And so we were one of the few that really knew it inside and out. And so
Mm,
my agency honestly was built around building campaigns and running Infusionsoft for many years. And we still do that, but it's not as big of a platform anymore as it used to be. But that is really what we did for a long time,
yeah.
mostly.
Before that, did you do anything different, or did you go from? Did you attend college at all?
Yeah, so I actually I worked for a local accounting network firm as their network and marketing manager for 8 years.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And great group of people, loved it. And I had a really hard time because I'm very creative.
Hmm.
And so for me, I would come up with all of these marketing ideas and let's do this. And accountants can be very black and white, not stereotyping, just saying overall, the ones that I worked with were like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. I'm like, we got to be different. So I really struggled with being able to think outside the box, which I love to do. So, and there were 4 months out of the year that's tax season.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do much besides just, putting out fires and helping where I could. And then I ran all of their networking and computers. And so while that was fun, I just felt like I really needed to expand in my creativity. And so after going to school for computer science, I actually then went and got graphic design, so that I
Nice.
could kind of get that creative outlet.
Excellent. My background is in IT, and that's IT, technology, marketing, tech. Oh wait, IT that makes them money, and so you can see the
Yeah.
linear path there.
And it's totally different now, right? Like back
Yeah.
in, and so funny story, I was managing their networks at Y2K. So I was the one on, January 1st of 2000, I had to go in. I think it was like a
Ooh.
Saturday or a Sunday, and I had to go in and make sure that none of the computers went down. And so, yeah, it was a different time for sure.
What if it
Um,
had?
I know,
What
I
would you
don't
have done?
know.
You thrive under pressure.
I
So
do. I do. I'm sure I would have figured something out.
yeah.
I have no idea what I would have done, but yeah, funny times, funny times. Yeah, I mean, everybody was convinced, right? Everything was going to go down. So yeah, I was in the office on the weekend, making sure everything was up for everybody that came in on Monday.
Man.
And during tax season, I used to have to do all the software updates,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't take computers down during tax season during the day. Like your, 30 employee staff needs to work. So I used to have to do the night shifts. Yeah, it was rough. So I used to have to do all my network updates and all my software updates overnight while everybody was gone so that I didn't take down the team. So yeah, different times for sure.
Hey, Daniel Pope here. Real quick, I want to give you a huge thanks for listening. If you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you share with others. That's how I get the word out, by you sharing it with somebody that could really benefit from this. Now, I started this podcast to stand out above the noise, to give real growth tactics in a crazy world when others may give some misinformation or not cover everything you need to know. That's not my MO. My MO is being able to give back, being able to help others see what they actually need to do in order to grow. And that's why personally, my company, Be Known, we don't offer any courses or coaching programs. We're a done for you service provider because we know in this world, sometimes people just need a helping hand, a connected team, and an expert to be there every step of the way. So again, I really appreciate you listening, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, yeah. Man, we relate so much on that because one of my clients at the IT firm that I worked at, they were a part of a logistics company, and then they basically made it a profit center by us having other clients as well. One of them was a tax firm in Memphis. So
Wow, small
I
world.
very much resonate with, oh, got to update QuickBooks. Hey, have you heard about QuickBooks Online? Whoa. and there was another, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was their tax filing software. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. But yeah, man. So I firmly believe that my time in IT and just being around high pressure environments such as the tax stuff, such as logistics, because time, it has allowed me to thrive under pressure. It's probably
Yeah.
similar in your case
Yep.
to what you're doing with clients. But I'd love to shift gears here and talk about the mechanics of a proper launch.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're the foremost expert on launches, the number one premier, I want to get your take on the best type of launch. Is it 3-day? Is it 45-day? Do we do a webinar, a
Oh,
VSL? Like, whoa,
yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And again, I'm going to say that really is, I think sometimes it comes down to the client,
Mm,
what they can get behind, right? What the offer is as well. So how long of the offer? Is it an evergreen offer? Evergreen has completely different style launch, right? Than a live launch. Is it a group program? Is it more one-on-one? Is it a high ticket, a low ticket? So, sometimes before, those are some of the questions that I am going to come to and kind of look at. okay, what's the offer? And then we're going to look, if it's a low ticket and it's a live thing, yeah, it's going to be probably shorter, right? 3 to 5 days push for quantity. If it's a low ticket offer, we're going to go hot and heavy, try to get it, get the urgency going and do more of a 3 to 5 day launch. I don't really see webinars. I don't know about you, but we haven't really seen webinars do much in moving sales on a low ticket offer.
Yeah. Well,
So
when you say
much.
low ticket, what's the price range?
So when I say low ticket, I'm anywhere under maybe 500.
Yeah.
Medium, ticket anywhere from like 500 to 1,000. It seems like anything under 500, 400. I don't think webinars move it much. Like I've had clients spend so much time and energy putting together webinars, and when it's that under a 500, I don't see that it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I don't know
Would you
about
like my
you.
take on it? Since we
Yeah.
solely focus on webinars for clients. Solely,
Yeah.
that's a loose term, but we have a client that sells $97. This is a dog trainer. They sell a
Mm-hmm.
$97 front end offer through a webinar. They do multi-million dollars each year with it.
Wow.
However, as you can expect, the return on ad spend, because it cost us $40 to $60 on a given month to get
Yeah.
and it's about $130 average order value. So it's not the best ROAS in the world. So we have to pump in affiliates, email
Yep.
marketing comes into play, etc. However, that is the lowest low ticket that I'd be ever willing to do a webinar
Yeah.
around. And by the grace of God, it's working. But I'd much rather do. So a lot of our clients, they do webinars to book a call. So whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
15-minute, yeah, it could be a VSL. Clients understand webinar a lot more. 15-minute
Yes.
webinar VSL versus a 60-minute. So that's my take on it. I'm with you on the low ticket stuff. I don't love running low ticket webinars, especially with paid ads.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's tough to recoup that. Curious your thoughts on Evergreen.
yeah. I used to be a very staunch advocate of do it live for as long as possible and then turn it automated. I've softened this year. The economy, busyness, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just kind of on edge. So I try to do automated as quickly as possible.
Interesting.
Um,
And it's
I
converting?
it is it is
Nice.
when the client is a rock star, when they have a great offer,
Mm-hmm.
when all the check boxes are checked early on. Um, when it's a brand new webinar, a new webinar program for a company, then we like to do it live at least 6 times.
Yeah.
With a good sample size audience. If
Yep.
it's very B2B, we need 5 people in because they're all engaging and they're selling a 60K package. But if
Yeah.
it's something closer to $1,000 course, then let's pop it with 100, 300 people. Anyway,
Yeah.
long-winded take on it, but
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, because a lot of our clients are wanting to go the Evergreen route, and they've tried, and
oh yeah, it's
they
a beautiful
haven't
pipe
got the
dream.
six. Yeah, right. Like that's what everybody wants, and we've tried it and have just found in some particular ones that she gets most of her sales from that live question and answer at the
Yeah,
end. So, we've looked at hybrid. Can we play it and then have her come in and do Q&A live at the end? But
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of the golden goose I think everybody would love to have, right? An automated
yeah.
evergreen webinar that sells while you sleep.
Have
That's the
you
dream.
used any automated webinar platforms such as EverWebinar, A Event?
Yes, that's the one we
Okay,
use. Mm-hmm.
cool. Yeah, that's the one that the client that I talked about, $97. They use EverWebinar,
Yeah.
but it has the chat with hundreds of people in anyway. So, whoa,
Mm-hmm. So I
peel back
think
the curtain
that's
a little more, and we can see the
right.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
So,
that's the key. And I think you said it exactly right. It's the offer, right?
yeah.
Like now, I think that's a big part of it. If you don't have the right offer, I don't think they're going to convert. I mean, that's just a given probably with any webinar.
Well, let's keep going with that because I know you and I both have seen launches that have fallen flat on their face. But what happens to cause a launch to, oh, I only made $500? Or worst case scenario launches. I hate to dwell on the negative, but by looking at the negative, we can see what to do.
Yeah. I think a lot of times what I have found when it's kind of crumbled, and I'm not surprised, is when someone tries to rush a launch and they're more coming from a place of I need cash now, right? Like I've got one in particular that I'm thinking, and he's always like, we need money, to make payroll next month, so we're gonna throw a launch together. And I'm like, you don't throw a launch together. Just those two words shouldn't go together, right? Like, no, you can't just throw it. Now, maybe if you're repeating, maybe it's something we did last year. It's a simple flash sale. Yes. But, he'll try to come up with these new ideas, and he'll say, next Monday, we're going to do the lead. We're going to create a new PDF, and we're going to have the webinars the week after. And I'm like, time out. We got to have a little more strategy or thought behind this. So for me, I think for sure when it hasn't had enough time to test it, what we've been doing lately, I don't know if you've done any of this, Daniel, but we've been starting to even split test lead magnet titles with very cheap ads, just to see what the interest is in some of our lead magnet, topics and titles. So, we want a little bit of, I want 2 weeks where I can split test a couple webinar titles, a couple lead magnet titles with some cheap ads. See, is this even going to resonate? Right. And if I don't have time to do some of that split testing, then I definitely, every now and then, you may get lucky. But I think lack of planning and having time to actually come up with a good strategy behind your launch will hurt.
So obviously that client is in a place of stress or anxiety over certain factors that you and we can't control, their finances, their payroll, etc. So what do you tell that client, or what would you tell the listener who's thinking, I just need to do a launch tomorrow, let's spin up a new PDF? I deal with some I've dealt with some clients like this before, and still deal with this stuff of, I got a new idea for a PDF and a new offer, can we spin it up next weekend? I'm like, hold on. No. We can discuss this on our quarterly session in 3 months. No, I'm kidding. But but what would you tell that client that's in that place?
They're visionaries, right? Like most of them, they're visionaries, they're idea generators, and I never want to squash that. So, side note, when you were talking about that, I have an ongoing, what I call brain dump with our clients. And I'm always like, add it to this Google Doc, or you send me a great idea, I'm going to put it here. I've heard you. This is something, but let's give it its proper place. I also like to say, how quick is it going to be to the money, right? Like, is it worth the squeeze, right? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, is all this effort that we're going to do, what is it that we're going to be able to get out of this ideally? Is it even worth it? Because it's extra stress on the team, and, you've got to pull in a bunch of different people that, and is this worth the mistakes of building something quickly, right? So is it really going to bring in a bunch of revenue to throw it together that way? So when I start talking money, a lot of times they're like, right. Like, I get that they want money, but when I start saying, look at all that's going to have to go out, and let's put some numbers together quickly, is this really going to bring, maybe we do a flash sale instead, right? Like, if they're really cash, needing it, could you do something quick that's like, hey, I've opened up my calendar for a couple one-on-ones, like looking at creative ways to bring in, but not a full-blown launch per se. That really, to do it right, we really need to have the time.
Gotcha. I would love to talk about the criteria for a successful launch. And when I think about it, I remember some of our most successful launches. There were clients who had already been in business. They weren't brand new, but they had an email list of a sizable amount. They were willing to spend on paid ads, et cetera. But I'd love, this was a while back since we focused solely on launches. So I'd love to hear your take on it. Criteria, qualifications. Hey, we cannot do a launch because of that.
Yeah. As far as qualifications, I don't necessarily have a very strict kind of guideline on that. One of the things I think that I always look at is, a lot of our clients will be referred by somebody else, and they'll say, oh, I want to do what so-and-so did. And so I always have the fun job of going back and saying, let me explain to you the budget and the amount of work and time that so and so has spent. What is your budget? Because a lot of times they see what everybody else is doing, and I want this and I want that, and then when I start saying, here's what that's going to look like, here's what that's going to cost, then they're like, whoa. So I think honestly, a lot of it comes to how much money do they have? Where are they in their business journey to be able to invest into doing a launch? Because they may have a small list that's responsive, so I don't necessarily look at that so much anymore. It's what do you have that you can invest back into this? Because I can't do this on a shoestring budget most of the time, right? Like if you tell me, Amber, I want all this together and I only have a budget of 10 hours, I'm going to say, I can't produce good results for you in that. So that's probably my biggest criteria is, do you have the budget? Are you in the financial space to be able to do this? Also, I'm really big in email deliverability. It's something that I've had a really big passion about learning over the last few years. So I feel like that has played a big part into what we now look at during a launch. So I'm also looking at that from the beginning. Are we just working with an email list? Like, is that, do you have a social following? If you've just got an email list, I need to know, how responsive are they? How engaged are they? Because I have had a couple who've come to me and say, I've got this great big list. I've got 100,000 on my list. And I pop in and I'm like, you haven't emailed in a month. I'm looking at your 30-day engaged. Those are my warm people that I need to, that I want to get going on.
I just bought it yesterday. I've had that before. We have 100,000 people, call number 3. Oh yeah, I bought it last week. Oh, no, great.
Good.
Cool.
You just probably ruined your IP reputation in that one.
So you don't care as much about, minimum list size, or
not anymore.
Yeah.
Not with the world of email deliverability anymore. If you've got a list of 2,000 that's opening your emails regularly and they're active, I'd take that over 50K of people who aren't responding.
So what about the offer?
Who aren't opening.
Do they need to have sold the offer before, outside of a launch?
I mean, ideally, yes, but we do a lot who do new stuff. We do a lot of new stuff. I think it's more, for us personally, I think we prefer those who, maybe it's not this offer, but they've launched before. So
maybe it's
for
that
us,
product,
right?
Instead
exactly.
of, Gotcha. Okay. That
they have an understanding of what we're up against and understand the process a bit, I think is who we probably resonate the most with. Because I think it's a totally different setup. It's a completely different mindset. It's a different strategy. If you're coming in, you just attended a Jeff Walker training and you've never launched before and you're brand new. We used to work with a lot of those in that space, but I don't think that's where we do the best work. I'll put it that way. Like, I don't think I'm the best person with somebody who's brand new. I'm the one who's, I know what I want. I'm 100% behind it. It may be a different version of it, or it may look slightly different, but I'm 100% in. What do I need to do? Type of, and
yeah, I very much agree with you there. I have a pretty strong opinion on the stages, especially newbies, and everybody starts at 0. And listener, I want you to know that this is not me saying that you can't succeed. Far from it. My goodness, this is me saying, listener, you don't need to spend a ton of money on an agency with a capital A right now. You don't.
Yeah.
There are a lot of boots on the ground, grassroots, guerrilla marketing, guerrilla lead gen, guerrilla sales, right? We're trying to generate leads and get sales that you can do outside of, hiring Amber for a big launch or be known for a full implementation team long term. Yeah, you don't need it. If you're brand new, you don't need it. And anybody, Amber, this is my take on it. Anybody that comes to the listener who's brand new and says, or even making just a little $5,000 a month and says, you need an agency because we can help you skyrocket 30x in 3 months. Run away. If they start promising if they offer guarantees of
Yeah,
grandeur,
never. That's like the biggest red flag. Like people say, "Do you guarantee?" I'm like, "No, I don't guarantee." And
yeah,
if somebody does, that's the one you need to look out for.
yeah, yeah. The strongest guarantee that we'll have after quite literally months of due diligence in some cases, the strongest guarantee we'll have is if we don't mutually if we don't hit our mutually agreed upon KPIs, we'll continue working for the next quarter until we do.
I
As you
like
can
that.
see, there's stipulations
Hmm.
throughout all that. But
Yeah.
again, listener, not to scare you off at all. I mean, this is a
No.
beautiful industry. And Amber, you and I can tell we both share a passion of its impact and its impact arbitrage. For me, I work with this clientele because I help one person, they help 1,000. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's very easy for
Yep.
me to understand. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
well, I want to talk about traffic for a second, if that's okay. So
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about mindset, do's and don'ts, but when you're launching, how are you driving in the traffic? We talked about email deliverability. Do you use any other traffic sources? It, is it staged? You know, tell
Yeah.
me.
So for us, of course, email deliverability, email is a huge driver. Most of our clients have lists. That's a big thing. We also, several of my clients are into JV marketing, JV affiliates. So, my one client where we do a yearly launch, no joke, she has 186 JV partners.
Mm,
So, I mean, that's a beast of its own. So half of our sales are coming from our JV partners that we then work all year long on recipping and keeping those relationships, good. So that's a big part of it. And then ads. I don't personally do ads. Our team doesn't do ads, but we work with, usually those in Facebook and the meta ads.
yeah.
We've tried some Google ads. I don't know if you've had success, Daniel, but it seems like with our B2B, our coaching clients, the Google ads just really, really doesn't do much for us.
Mm,
We have the best results usually on Meta. Um, Although I'd like to start getting more into YouTube as well. That's something that we're
yeah.
looking at is YouTube ads. But I think ads
Yeah.
play a big part.
I believe they do. That's the primary traffic source we focus on with clients. That and
Hmm.
email secondary.
Hmm.
So again, listener, I said she's a colleague of mine. We're both playing in the same sandbox. We just have different tools that we're
Hmm.
playing with. When you talk about Google ads, are you talking about Google search and display or
Yes.
YouTube? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so if I'm working with a B2B, like they're selling something that's $10,000 plus, then it's Google search and display works, especially when you're bidding for branded keywords. So for example, I bid on my own keywords, be known online, how to be known LLC, like that type of
Hmm.
stuff, and it picks up low hanging fruit. But if I'm doing a webinar, I'm not going to run Google search ads for my webinar because I want to hit them with a higher intent thing. They're already searching marketing agency. I don't need to educate them on a ton of stuff. I push them over to a
Yeah.
sales. Well, for
Smart.
me, I guess it's a sales page. It's a call booking page.
Hmm.
So, but it also depends. Oh no, listeners saying it depends on what? It depends.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of
I
it.
know, right?
That's why not everyone's a billionaire though. It's because it
Yes.
depends. YouTube
Yes.
ads, YouTube ads work really well when they work really well. They take a little bit to get going. They're a little bit more expensive, but once you find the spark, man, scale that sucker.
Yes.
And yeah, anyway. So, are you working with other vendors? Do they already have a paid
Yeah.
ads team? Okay,
Yeah, most of our
gotcha.
clients, we're working with other ad agencies,
Yeah,
trying different ones. We will sometimes also just hire. We may find an ad agency that we really love,
hmm,
but we then may get a consult with somebody else on the creatives, right? Like
yeah,
I've noticed before, it's interesting. I've noticed that sometimes they don't have both. Like I can find an agency that gets the algorithms, that gets all of the the nitty gritty of running the ad, but then when it comes to creative, it's like we're bomb, right? So sometimes we have found where it's actually great to have both and have somebody that helps us come up with the creatives, and then have somebody that actually kind of manages and monitors the ad and all of that. So
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely it's definitely, we've gone through so many different ones. I think that's part of
Yeah.
it too, is finding the right person to
Mhm.
run your ads. So that's one thing I always say, like, don't give up. Like, people come to us and be like, I spent so much money and I didn't get any results. I'm like, you just didn't have the right person. Like you
Yeah.
said, you just didn't have the right, it takes time to really nail down what's working, what people are responding to.
Hmm.
But once you find it, you find it, but it
Yeah.
can take time. And it may be a different team, try one. If it doesn't work, sometimes last year, I think with one client in particular, we went through 3 different ad teams,
Oh, wow.
until we
Yeah.
finally found a guy that we just were like, okay, he gets us, right? Like, he
Mm.
gets
Yeah.
what we're doing.
There's an old adage, different strokes for different folks.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've seen clients that, started talking with other vendors, and the other vendor has all the results in the world, the best thing since sliced bread, but they didn't get along. They just couldn't. Not
Yeah.
that they were
Yep.
arguing, it was
Right.
friction. Square peg,
Yeah.
round hole, whatever it is. And so it's,
It can even be communication style. I've
yeah,
seen just completely tank how, one person, texts and other is not responsive on text and they're frustrated, and
yeah,
it's amazing. So that's one of the first things that we always say is, how do you communicate? Like,
yeah,
let's address that right away, because that I've seen just in communication styles really kind of hurt,
yeah.
you know.
It's very relevant right now as I'm working on Q3 is all about optimizing our internal processes. And so I'm curious, how do you all communicate with your clients primarily?
Primarily, I would say email is still,
Yeah,
I would say, where most of our clients, a lot of them have moved to Slack and WhatsApp
yeah,
over the last year, um, which makes it sometimes hard for me personally, because I've got email, I've got some clients that text, I've got WhatsApp, I've got Slack. So, but I always say I meet them where they're at. Like, that's just
yeah,
what we always say. Like, my goal is that you're going to communicate and get us what we need.
yeah.
Whatever avenue I need to support you to get me that information, I will. So, I just have a bunch of
Hmm.
different reminders during the day, like, check WhatsApp, check Slack, check.
Oh,
But
Amber, I don't
yeah,
know
it's
if I
across
could
the
do it.
board.
No.
I know.
Yeah. How do you manage the intake of information and project management, passing it to teams? How are you managing
Yeah.
that?
It really depends. Sometimes we come in and we're the team, right? Like,
Mm.
sometimes we come in to a launch and we come into a client, they may have a business manager, they may have a coach, they may have a VA, and so I bring my team with me. I may come into a team where they already have the team and I'm just overseeing it. So sometimes I have to adapt. I may come into an existing team and they're using Basecamp or they're using Monday already. So I meet them again where they're at.
Mm.
I can be pretty nimble that way. My favorite personally is, I'm an Asana girl, so I love
Mm.
Asana. Um, so whenever I take over, if they don't have anything, I'm right away building out an Asana plan,
Yeah.
and either bringing my team or their team in. But yeah, if I can, I love to use it in a project management system and have everybody communicating in the comment thread, because the worst is when somebody can't find a conversation. I can't tell you how many times it's like, did
Mm.
so and so say we were going to change that to blue, or what did we decide what date were we going to launch that email? I'm like, it needs to all be in the Asana plan. Like, there needs to be one place. Like, I have this thing where I like to say, it's like details in all caps in my plan. It's like, everything is listed here. Anybody on the team should be able to go and see what are the dates for the pages that they have to be live? When do the emails start? When are the
Yeah.
emails going? When is the sales page live? When should somebody be monitoring chat, right? Like, anybody should have access to all of that information. So
Yeah.
I'm really big on having that organized somewhere that anybody
Hmm.
can access.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. It's I take a page out of theatrical performances, and we have run sheets. So here's the run sheet. This is what
Nice.
we're doing. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
agree, well, we should have caught that 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, this
So
is it.
yeah, this is it. Why are you asking for a change? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's
sorry.
valid.
Next
Yeah.
time we'll put it on 2.0. That's
Yeah.
what I always say.
Yes.
We'll add that for next
Nothing,
time.
man, nothing worse than last minute, stop the launch, push it back a week. Oh, did I give you shivers?
Yes, yes. I'm like having like, yeah, nightmares of, well, for
You
us, it
gotta
was the
push.
Google. Yeah, well, for us, it was this last launch, the ads team did not follow our playbook, and they started ads 2 days early, and
Nice.
they were
Yeah.
in a different country, a different time zone. And so I come in the morning, and like the customer service team's like, we're getting all these emails saying that they're trying to opt in for, then it's not right. I'm like, no, it's not ready. Like, who put it live? And they're like, oh. And then I find out the ads team's like, oh, our bad. We read it as start at Tuesday, but I see you said Thursday. I'm like, take it down. So that's the worst for me, is like something goes live and it's not ready. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, Amber, there's so much more that we could talk about with project management. That's a deep passion of mine. I've been on this crusade to take this industry, grab them by the shoulders and say, "We're getting on something legitimate." I
Yes,
love ClickUp.
me too.
You love
I
Asana.
like that one too. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very similar. ClickUp is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've made it a point to try and get all of our clients into using ClickUp portals, the, the chat thread anyway. I could
100%.
talk for
I'm with
2
you.
hours about it, but
Me too.
you
Yeah.
know,
It makes a
time,
big difference.
it does. It really does. And I've tried everything from text, email to Slack. I got so fed up with Slack because nobody could comment in the right thread. And so I realized all of my internal stress, my hair turned white, then it turned back brown. And all of it was coming from Slack. And I said, no more
Yeah.
Slack. This
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always tell clients, like, it's great for like, hey, I just sent you an urgent email, right? Like,
yeah.
but the where I get a whole thread of, oh, I want to change this page. Here's all the edits. I'm like, no, that's not what Slack is, not where that goes. That goes in a
That's the
task,
worst.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes it's
Well,
educating, and it's a little of like, okay, I'm moving this over to Asana, or okay, I'm
yeah.
moving this here. Next time, put it there, please, not in Slack. It's not a
Yeah.
task, please.
Well, we work in a very particular, nuanced industry with wonderful yet nuanced people. And there's nothing wrong with that, listener, because you're able to go out there and impact. And this business model, I firmly believe that this business model, online based businesses, expertise driven, passionate entrepreneurs, is the best in the world. Some of the highest margins you'll ever make, and some of the easiest money you'll ever make. And the ability to influence and impact so many people, second to none. But we're talking about nitty gritty, listener, because this is what we do. This is
Yeah.
how we unwind, right? It's so.
Yes.
Amber, let's land the plane. Time has slipped away. This has been wonderful, but I'd love to land the plane on anything you'd love to share, any mantra, any mindset tip, any business tactic, if you want to take us on
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that I could share a ton. But yeah, I think, the biggest takeaway, I love, you just said, Daniel, like, yeah, like launches aren't dead. Like a lot of people are saying, I don't know if I should launch anymore. I keep hearing that in 2025, launches aren't working. They're working. So
Webinars are
I think,
not dead either.
yes, webinars nor email, right? Like it still works. I think it's just, it looks different. So
Yeah.
I would just, I think one of my biggest things is keep doing it. It's just, you need to be looking at how else to get in front of people. And yes, maybe what you were doing before, you shouldn't, I think we have to look at things a bit differently and how people are engaging and consuming our content, but this stuff still works and people are still doing it. And I think it's still a great way to build your business. I still believe in them. I still think they're a big part of, B2B and B2C even. But yeah, I would just say don't give up. Don't, keep doing it. Keep doing it till you find the sweet spot, and back up. That's my biggest thing. Have a backup of everything that you're doing. Have a plan.
Have a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And
Yep. And I've seen it happen. I'm just telling you, something as simple as not having a detailed plan will, yeah, it'll ruin you.
Mm. Well, Amber, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I am really looking
Thank
forward to the
you.
next time we chat. We'll talk all about project management. No, I'm kidding. We'll have another chat. We'll talk about Slack.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, Amber, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And listener, hey,
Thanks. You
thanks
too.
for listening.
Thanks. Good to see you.